The Houston Rockets have one of the youngest and most exciting teams heading into this upcoming NBA season. In the midst of a rebuild, however, they are still very, very, very fun to watch. With Jalen Green and his electric dunks, he is an emerging superstar in the NBA. He's one of the main guys we're going to be talking about today. They also have Kevin Porter Jr. running the backcourt with him, who I think is a little bit underrated, not talked about quite as much as he should be. You also got their three rookies in Ty Washington, who's going to be a very nice backup point guard for them, Jabari Smith Jr., and Tari Eason. Eason, very underrated. Jabari Smith Jr., the number 3 overall pick, my number 1 overall prospect. So yeah, we're going to be talking all about the Houston Rockets today. Make sure you stick around for the end of the video. Also, make sure to the like button and the subscribe button if you do enjoy at any point, and make sure to leave me a comment down below, as it really helps us out in YouTube algorithm. Now let's go ahead and get started looking at Jalen Green and his breakout season. Last year, he was injured a lot during the beginning half of his rookie season, and he struggled with inefficiency, yet he still put up 17.3 points per game, 3.4 rebounds, and 2.6 assists, and put up about 22 a game after coming back from his hamstring injury and kind of fully adapting to the NBA level. 43% from the field, 34% from 3 last year were his percentages, so I expect those to each go up by 3 or 4 points this year. Also 0.7 steals. Expect him to be a little better on defense, but he's a prototype superstar in the NBA. 6'5", 6'6" guard, great slasher that can also knock down the 3 ball and has a little bit of mid-range game. I mean, you look at it and yeah, prototype NBA superstar right there. There's a lot of guys like that, D-Wade, Kobe, they kind of stick out. MJ even. I mean, there you go. Two-way guys. And I think Jalen Green could be one of the next great shooting guards. Now they have a fantastic young core, 7 first-round picks over the last 2 years. Let's take a look at a few of them here. With Ty Washington, we'll talk about him first. I think he's going to be a great facilitator, secondary facilitator for them, because last year on that Kentucky team, Severe Wheeler was the point guard. He was the number 2 ball handler, still averaged 4 assists per game. Great in the pick and roll. Think he'll adapt to the NBA very nicely. Tari Eason is going to be a stud this year, going to be really hard to stop, especially when he gets going downhill, and he's also a very gifted defender at 6'8" and like 220. Jabari Smith Jr., very, very skilled shot maker. He can just elevate over anybody, kind of Kevin Durant-like. Needs to get better at the rim on both sides of the ball, however. Alperen Sengun is another guy that we're going to talk about in depth later, who I expect to have a breakout season this year. And then Jalen Green, who we already talked about. All 5 of these guys are going to be making up part of the best young core in basketball here before long. Well, they'll have to go up against guys like the Magic, the Thunder, and the Pistons, but all 4 of those teams are extremely fun to watch. And then you also got Usman Garuba and Josh Christopher. Garuba, who I can see turning into like a Draymond Green type guy on the defensive side of the ball. And then Josh Christopher, he was a 5-star prospect going into college. Still very, very skilled. So definitely still a lot of potential there. Just didn't work out in college, which led to his draft stock being lowered. Rockets took a chance on him, and it could still definitely pay off. Now, taking a look at their draft capital right here. Look at all these picks. In 2023, they have Milwaukee's first, their own first. Brooklyn's through a pick swap. In 2024, they have Brooklyn's through a pick swap. They don't have their own, which could be a bit interesting. Hopefully, they're good enough by that time. 2025, they have their own. They have a very, very complicated swap between Oklahoma City and Brooklyn there. And then in 2026, they have Brooklyn's. And then 2027, they have their own and Brooklyn's pick swap. So yeah, they lost a lot of picks in, I believe, the Westbrook trade with Oklahoma City. So they tried to replenish those a little bit. So they do have a lot of Brooklyn picks if the Kevin Durant experiment ever goes crazy. Now, taking a look at how they are going to replace Christian Wood, it's definitely going to be interesting because Wood, 18 points, 10 rebounds a game, as well as a block on 50% shooting, 40% from 3. He was a stud last year, but they do bring in Jabari Smith Jr. with the number 3 overall pick in the draft. We talked about him, how effective he is, just elevating up and over people, 40% from 3 last year in college. At 6'10", that's going to be tough to handle. And then you got Ty Washington, who I also said I really, really like as the backup point guard. They get him with that 26th overall pick in the Christian Wood trade. And that's really all they got out of that trade, honestly, other than just clearing the way for Jabari to start from day one. So, it was a decent trade there. I'm not going to call them winners or anything, but, yeah. It was alright. I like the Ty Washington pickup. Now, let's talk about some people that need to get traded out of Houston. KJ Martin has already said that he is done with his time in Houston. He's ready to go elsewhere just due to the logjam of minutes at at power forward, not backup power forward, at just straight up the power forward position. And then Eric Gordon is a vet that can knock down the three ball that a lot of contending teams would definitely love to have on their roster, especially coming off that bench. I believe he averaged about 17 a game last year on very efficient shooting. He's been doing that for a while, even though he is up to about 34 years old now. So both of these guys could probably be on their way out by the trade deadline. We'll see how the Rockets can resolve issues with KJ Martin, because I think they should try to keep him. He's a good young piece for this squad, but we'll see how it works out. Now, another breakout year here. Alperen Sengun. Both of these guys, Sengun and Jalen Green, I think are going to have big years. But Sengun is a guy that is really flying under the radar. 10 points a game last year, 5.5 rebounds, and 2.6 assists. A more athletic version of Nikola Jokic, I feel like. Just a great passer. Really sees the floor very well, as you see in that clip. And then he also gets some nice putback dunks coming out of nowhere. Sneaky, athletic. 48% from the field, 1 block, 1 steal per game, and only 20 minutes of action. So very efficient with his minutes there. I was kind of surprised at what kind of stats he put up in those minutes. Here's the sneaky athleticism coming in as well. Now, taking a look at the lineups this year for this Houston Rockets squad, I would have to guess it'd be Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green in the backcourt. That's the only logical answer there. They do need probably, I don't know, if you want to rock with Jayshawn Tate, I mean, I guess that'd be cool. Maybe you could in the future look to bring in a different small forward, one that's not like 6'4". But for right now, he is good. Very good hustle player to have on the roster. Nice presence in the locker room. Can help these young guys, even though he is still relatively young himself. Can help these young guys develop. In the front court, you're very young as well with Jabari Smith Jr. and Alperen Sengun. But yeah, starting 3 rookie or sophomores, that's kind of rough. That is scary. But hopefully Kevin Porter Jr. and Jayshawn Tate can lead by example and be the veterans for this squad. I'm taking a look at the bench. It's a pretty crowded bench. There's a lot of young guys just looking to get minutes. Ty Washington, like I said, I really like him off the bench at that backup point guard spot. And then Eric Gordon at the backup 2. That'll probably be Josh Christopher if Eric Gordon does get traded. And it would only make sense for them to trade him, right? Just get the old guy out of the way. Let the young bucks play. Tari Eason at the backup small forward. I think he's going to make a name for himself this year. And then KJ Martin, if he doesn't demand a trade out, will be the backup power forward. If he does, then Garuba will probably slide over to the backup power forward spot, and they'll find somebody else to play the backup center, because I'm not sure if Garuba is quite tall enough to play the backup center spot, but we will see. And that's basically the bench. Taking a look at the other guys that would be looking for a spot in the rotation would be Garrison Matthews and Josh Christopher. So both of these guys could look to get some minutes if Eric Gordon is traded. I mean, you could look for a better backup center, but I just went with giving the young guys the minutes. They have some other options on the roster, but just went with the young guys as they're probably just looking to develop this year. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like button and the subscribe button if you do enjoy at any point, and make sure to leave me a comment down below. With all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.